right, we're gonna go check out a little little public ground spot. You guys stay tuned, and we get to the WMA. I'll show you guys around and show you what sign I'm finding, and hopefully we may even see something. So stay tuned. We're out. Yeah, this piece of public that I'm on is one that I spring turkey hunted and early bow hunted. This particular piece closes, I think it's sometime second or third week of October. It closes to everyone but the quota hunters. So it's quota drawn from that time until like the end of November. So I didn't get drawn this year for the quota hunt. But we're going to go back here, do a little deer scouting, turkey scouting, just kind of see what we can find. So this place is beautiful. I'm actually walking onto a section that I've hunted during early bow season. Deer trail right there. They left a fair amount of crop standing back here for the wildlife. It looks like they've mowed it down. Let's see. So a lot of this up in this back section is, it was cut really high, and they came through and bush hogged some trails in. Front part of this place, this field, actually left all the crops standing for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 acres. So we'll walk up here and see what I can find, and I'll get back with y'all as soon as I find something worth filming. So I just walked this real thick, high stem count area. It's got like a creek drainage coming off of that cornfield on this side of it. Over here, there's one right behind the camera. And then if you go a little further down, there's another one. I found a bunch of rubs. I couldn't find anything that looked like a, like a deer bed or something, but as thick as this is, like I said, you've got drainages on both sides of it. It's kind of like a pinch point. I'll insert some footage Onyx exports on the video now, so you guys can kind of see it. But just on the other side, the ridge on the other side of the drainage behind the camera, it runs all the way down to the highway, and just on the opposite side of that ridge is the river. So I would guess, and the trails in here are beat down. Also found a balloon. Old Dan M Fault special there. But I'll kind of show you these rubs that I'm walking up on. A lot of them are not crazy big. You can see that was definitely this year. It's not real high off the ground. You've got time marks coming up to here. So maybe, I don't know, you may be 3 foot off the ground. But it looks bucky. I'd actually hunted probably 2 ridges over during early bow season, and just was gonna be working my way back in here, but never did make it here until it closed for quota hunt only. But yeah, this stuff is super thick. I mean, you couldn't even set up in a tree. You'd have to hunt it on the ground. You have to be tight too, because they're not going to have much of a shot opportunity. Here's another rub. That one's tore up pretty good. It doesn't appear quite as fresh, but could also be the tree. It's the kind of tree that it is. You see shavings on the ground behind it. So it was definitely made during this year. I need to look and see how many bucks were shot off of this place during season. Like I said, the good part about this place is it's archery only. It hurts me to get up. It's archery only, except for the first 2 days of our modern gun season. It opens for a 2-day gun hunt. It's quota only. So I walked down the drainage that was actually to the north of the camera a while ago whenever I first talked to you guys. I'm up on top of this ridge. The next ridge over is the cornfield. my east, on the opposite side of this ridge, is the river. So it's kind of hard to tell, and if you're not really looking, you can really easily pass up a lot of sign and a lot of things that can really help you figure out where you need to be. So this area is kind of one of those deals. I've actually got a group of beds here. There's probably, I know these two are definitely beds, and I'm just basing what I'm seeing. Those other 3 spots over there are beds too. I found deer hair in 2 of these beds. All around this kind of bench, there's rubs all around it. Multiple beds up here though. The rubs are probably, I don't know, 50, 60 yards off. And there's a scrape over here probably 40 yards away. It's full of leaves and stuff now. But I believe does were bedding here, because during our rut, our predominant winds are out of the southwest, but during our rut, we have a lot of days where we'll have northwest, northeast, more northwest, but any north wind, the way it's going to hit this terrain is going to funnel scent right down to where those scrapes and rubs are. So I would imagine that bucks were marking this area up during the rut, late October, early November, and probably traveling down there looking for does. I found a little bit of turkey scratching on the ridge over, but not enough that it was really worth showing. It's not old. I mean, it's super old, so not a whole lot of stuff to scratch up right now this time of year. But dog. But I'm gonna hit this cornfield up again before I leave and walk it real good. But I'm gonna follow this ridge on out, kind of heading toward the north. I would imagine at some point I'm gonna find more sign, just based on predominantly the winds are going to be coming from like this way, so they're going to be hitting me like right in the face. You know, if I'm looking that way, they'll be hitting me right in the face. So I could see scent checking this area from, like I said, this point, and they could follow this drainage all the way around and have the wind blowing right to their face. They're low enough that thermals will pull to them as well. So I'm gonna see what I can find. So I kind of got to a point on that ridge where it started dropping back off into this little drainage, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I'll turn it around here and see. But all of those banks right there are super steep enough that a deer is not going to walk up it unless it is spooked. You know, a deer that's been jumped, he'll run up that way to get away from danger, but he's not going to consistently travel that. So I've got sign on the other side. So now my goal is to see how is he going to traverse this ridge here. The top of the ridge turns and comes out and goes toward the field. So I'm going to walk this bottom edge since I'm already down here, and I'm going to see if I can find trails, a low spot on these hills that is more suitable for travel. And I'm going to mark it. If I find that point, I'm going to mark it. And that'll be one that I'll set cameras up on. I'll maybe even throw a hunt at, depending on how much sign I find. I tell you, the closer I get to these fields, the ridges kind of flatten out in here, so I would imagine that these deer, they're probably not moving a whole lot toward that river unless they're pushed that way. They may go down there and get them some water, but typically water's not a limiting factor for us. We get plenty of rain most of the time. So let me jump up this way. Yeah. So that trail's going to come up this way. I'm bound to run into it up here. That trail run up this way toward the field, which is where I bet a lot of does are going to spend their time there. When it's standing, they'll bed in it. And this part of the field is still standing. Something else too. When I came up through here, walking the edge of this field, to get back to where I wanted to start, I found a cell cam, which is completely fine. It's legal. But right in front of the cell cam, there's a mineral site. Guys, that's illegal on public ground in Kentucky, so if you're watching this video, you know better. Don't, just follow the rules. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't give all the dang snowflakes that much more ammunition to fight us with. So you guys just don't do that stuff. If you're going to hunt public ground, do it right. Put your camera out, but don't put out minerals. Don't put out feed. Don't try to bait or anything. Come in here this time of year. All the leaves are off the trees. You can still see sign really well. Come in here and scout it. Figure out where you need to be. Crop rotation will change out here. Next year, that's going to be soybeans. But you know what? They're going to be in there early season. I guarantee it. I guarantee you there's going to be a big buck hitting this whenever it's a bean field next year. Now's the time to find out where you need to be to intercept them. So get out there and work. Don't break any rules or laws. It's not worth it. And then what will wind up happening is let's say me or someone else who didn't know it was there, and we go, you're going to see the trails are heavier around that, especially at certain points of the year. You set up on it and don't realize you're set up within bow range of a mineral site. The likelihood of that happening is slim and none, but if you do that and the game warden walks up on you, you got some explaining to do. I mean, it's just not cool. A little turkey poop. I don't know any other bird that would crap that big. Alright, I found what I'm looking for. So this is no doubt a mature buck track. You can kind of see, that's darn near a 4-finger track. And his stride, is longer than I want to step comfortably. It's probably, I'd say 5.5, 6 foot, something like that maybe. I found it because, I don't know if you can see it or not, I'll try to zoom in. I walked down the edge of this trail that they bush hogged, and right there's an opening. It goes back to some real thick brush. Let's see if I can get it better over here. Real thick brush that's in between this cornfield and a little pond. And you can see over here, I'm not going to walk through there because it's super thick. That last place I just zoomed in on, though, is another mowed path. It dead ends right there, probably 5 yards off the bank of that pond, and there's a deer bed in it right there. So I just follow those tracks from that trail into this corn. Singular bed. Good God. He must have slipped there, but the one right beside it ain't real. You can tell it was just a walking track, and this thing's huge. Good Lord. So he's walking back this way. Look at this. See that trail? We're going to follow this out. Get back on that trail. And I'm at this other little path here. Kind of down in a little bowl. Now he should have a trail that cuts back in this thicket. Already walked back that way. Didn't see anything. But the bad part about this stuff is it could be real faint, or it could look like that. Going right back into that high stem count bedding area. So now, like I said, if next year this is soybeans, and this is going to be a good spot early season, or a potential good spot early season, drop a pin on that. So now you got two choices. Early season, this bean field is not going to have any paths mowed through it. But I'm thinking about evening time hunts. So I'd come in through the beans and backtrack down that trail till I found me a spot that I could set up on, get the wind right for an evening set. Now, morning set, assuming these deer are already out in the soybeans, I'd access it from the water, put a boat in and go down the river, come in from the river. I'm not too far off the highway back there either. So you could potentially pull off the edge of the highway, jump the guardrail, and ease back this way. Walking back out to where this camera is, I'll show you guys. You can see it there. It's a spy point camera. It's a spy point camera that's set up over a mineral site down here. Pitiful. Alright. I'm headed back to the truck. I'm going to jump in and go down a little ways further and look at a spot that was beans during this past growing season. It was an old cornfield whenever I was in it last time turkey hunting. So I'm just going to kind of see what I can find as far as turkey sign goes. Deer sign too, because like I said, that'll be beans again. Sorry, that'll be corn again. So during the rut, and when this place closes for a quota hunt, if I get drawn, it'll be a good spot to potentially sit up on. I'll go see what I can come up with and be back with you. Pretty good scrape. I moved down the main drag a little bit, and I'm at the back finger of this field that was beans last year, and they left all the beans standing. I mean, I don't know how much that is. Probably at least, just guessing, 5 acres. 6 acres. Heavy trails coming out everywhere. The truck parked up by the parking lot where I'm at. So somebody else may be in here scouting. Tracks all over the place. I'm gonna tuck in the woods here where I shot my last bird in Kentucky last year. See if I can find that setup and think a little bit, get my bearings about me, and figure out where I might want to be this spring. Alright, so right here's my hide. That's where I shot my second bird last year. You can kind of see it was pretty good cover. I was sitting right in here, back against that log. I'll get back down in here and kind of show you. So, naturally I was sitting down. I ain't gonna get all crouched down like I was hunting. But I was sitting in here, and the reason why I sat up here is like I said last year, that field was corn. And I had came in early that morning and stayed on the edge of that field and listened, and had a bird gobbling. There was actually one ridge over behind me. And at that point, I'd hunted in here maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 times. So I tried hunting that bird a couple times before, and I had set up, got on the same ridge that he was on, naturally just not as deep in the woods. And that bird flew down and traveled to the east, which would have been in this direction. So came back the next day, was thinking, all right, he flew down to the east, so I'm going to set up to the west of him, because those old birds, they typically, they don't do the same thing twice. So I set up to the west of him. He flew down, walked this way. And I actually got up that day and circled around and set up back behind the camera over that way. Set up on him, and I probably had that time within, it's hard to tell, but probably 60, 80 yards of me, something like that, but it was so thick I couldn't see him. and there was a little rise between him and me, and he would not come up and look over the top of that rise. So when I came in here that morning, he was gobbling. I walked in here. I got even with him. Like I said, I'm one ridge over to the west of him at that point. And I set up with my back to the gobbler, just thinking that, he's going to fly down. There's a big drainage, and he's going to fly down and walk that drainage down. And sure enough, that morning, that's exactly what he did. So I set up here, called to him a little bit, and he gobbled once when he hit the ground back behind me. And I was pretty sure he had hens because I could hear some clucking and purring. And the second time he gobbled, probably 45 minutes later, he's just on the other side of this drainage from me. So I waited about 10 minutes from that and started calling to him. And would yelp, real soft yelps and clucks. And then I started kiki-ing to him. And I would answer my kiki with the Jake yelp. And that was more than he could handle. And he came in. I actually killed him over by this tree right over here. I don't know, it's maybe 40 yards out, 30 yards out. I don't know. Show you guys where he was at. You can kind of see this dead tree right here. Well, there's a gap right there. And that turkey walked right through that gap. There was, if I remember right, I think there was 3 hens with him. And they were ahead of him. He was the last bird to cross that gap. And believe it or not, I was set up in here. I had some camo blind material draped around me. Of course, it was, greened up a whole lot more then. That bird, as soon as he jumped that little deadfall that you see kind of right there. As soon as he jumped that deadfall, he locked on me. And I don't know why, but he knew something wasn't right, and I could tell he wasn't going to be there long, so I blew his head off. Unfortunately, though, at that point I hadn't fully committed to trying to film and put anything on YouTube or anything like that, so I didn't have my camera with me. And I had a buddy of mine that was taking footage. I always film my deer hunts, and a buddy of mine that was taking footage and putting it on YouTube. And I just got to thinking, like, heck, I'm doing most of the work. Might as well post it myself. So that's why I started this channel. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Come back in here and reminisce on successful hunts and just remembering how things worked out and trying to see if clues from previous seasons can help you put something together for this season. I love it out here. I could just sit out here and do nothing. I think this year, if I do hunt back here, I'm going to go about it a little different. I'm going to come in from the river. And, a shot at one of these birds, and if I can't get them to cooperate, then I'll just get in the boat and float down the river and call until maybe I hear a gobble. I'll walk over here and show you all this drainage. Or, I don't know, it's like a gully. It's a low spot, and when the river floods, water gets out, it fills up with water. So you can kind of see where we've got quite a bit of rain. It's flooded now. This spring it wasn't like that. So if you go further back down that way, there's like a little, I'm guessing you would consider it a saddle. It connects these two ridges, the one I'm on and then the one that's across from that gully over there. But like I said, the water was down quite a bit, and those turkeys would fly down and get in this low spot here, as it was greened up quite a bit too. And I'm guessing that they would find bugs and other things down there to eat, and kind of peck and scratch, and they'd walk down here and then they'd hit that little land bridge. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, 100 yards, something like that down. And walk it, come back over and get on this ridge I was on, and they walked right back up to me. So I found there's quite a bit of deer sign. Not a whole lot of turkey sign, which I really didn't expect to see a whole lot, especially this time of year. But yeah, there's fresh deer scat everywhere back here. Found a couple rubs. I showed you that one little one over there, but some other ones that were similar in size. But I'm gonna go look at this land bridge, and then I'm gonna call it a day. Go back to the house and aggravate the kids, and maybe try to edit some and get another video posted. So this place is awesome. Like I said, this is public ground. Anybody can come in here and do this. It's a really good resource. It's some of the best hunting that I've ever had, and like I said, it's public, so anybody can do it. Actually, ran into another fellow YouTuber out here. I didn't run into him. I seen his truck and left a note on his truck. You guys go check out his channel, because he's got hunts on this place too. I haven't filmed a hunt over on this place, but this spring I'm going to, in this coming fall. But his name's Parker McDonald, and he runs a Southern Ground Hunting YouTube channel. He has a podcast, and got a pretty cool Instagram page. So you guys, if you don't already subscribe to him, go check out his stuff. He's a really good storyteller, and yeah, go like him, go subscribe, follow his content, because he's the real deal. And I'm gonna get out of here.